All right, so today I'm with Jesse Briggs, also known as Maritimer Glassworks. How are you doing today, Jesse?
Good, man. You?
Awesome, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me out here. I really appreciate it. The hospitality has been fantastic. I just wanted to get started with asking you, what are some of your hobbies outside of glassblowing?
I play in a band. I play drums in a band called Diner Drugs.
Nice.
I like growing weed and riding my motorcycle.
Awesome.
And cats.
Nice. How long have you been playing music for?
I'd say over 10 years.
Over 10 years? Nice. What kind of instruments do you play?
Guitar, drums, piano. Those are pretty much my main ones these days. Piano and drums mostly.
Nice. How long have you been blowing glass for?
I've been blowing glass since 2015. So I think we're coming up on 5 years now.
Nice. How did you get into that?
Well, I stumbled across Nick McKaig's booth, grass blower. He was at some art festival or some art fair, and I just saw his marbles. And that was the first thing that got me interested in it, but yeah, I don't know, I hated my job, and I needed to figure out a way to make money that wasn't work. So it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of fell into place.
Nice. So after you decided that you wanted to take up glass blowing, what was your next step after that?
The next step after that was find somebody who could blow glass.
Yeah.
Who was near me, who was willing to let me at least look at their tools and see what kind of a list I needed, make a list for like what I needed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And luckily Nick was nice enough to let me into his shop and do a 4-hour lesson with him. So.
Nice. So what can you tell me about that 4 hours with Nick?
He taught me how to make a marble and a pipe. And pretty much the basics on all the equipment and all that stuff. So it was pretty much everything I needed to get all the equipment and start learning myself.
Yeah. 4 or 5 hours was good for you.
4 hours, yeah, that's all I needed. 4 hours. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube and all that too, but yeah, just learning how to run the torch without blowing myself up.
Yeah.
And the basics, you know what I mean? That's that kind of stuff. And I mean, he's answered all my questions ever since then, so don't get me wrong, it's a lot. 4 hours was all I took in his studio, but
yeah,
he's been kind of mentoring me ever since.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, dude. Who are some other guys that you might have reached out to or give you some pointers over the years?
Nick has pretty much answered all my questions. There was one time where I had to learn how to do like a sculpted perk, and Greenbelt Glass kind of pointed me in the right direction on how to do that. So
nice.
Him at least one time.
That's awesome. Yeah. So after you took that introduction kind of lesson with Nick, what did you do after that? How did you go about teaching yourself?
I pretty much just went online, went on YouTube, and watched everything there was to watch on YouTube that I could find. And while I was doing that, I was just buying piece after piece of gear, you know what I mean? Slowly accumulating everything I needed. And then, the next step after that was figure out where I could blow glass. So I had to build a shed in my parents' backyard. So yeah, it was like a step-by-step process that took, I don't know, maybe like 8 months in total. I'm not 100%, but it was a slow process, and it was piece by piece. It wasn't a big overnight decision or anything like that.
For sure. What was it like building the shed or building the studio in the back of your parents' house? What was that process like for you?
Luckily for me, it was really easy. Yeah. Because I had a couple of really good friends who were really good carpenters. So I mean, like, pretty much one guy, 2 dudes put it up in one day.
That's great. Yeah.
So, I mean, like one guy and a helper. You know what I mean? So I basically was just handing wood and stuff. Awesome. So it was easy for me.
For sure.
I had to insulate it and all that myself, and tiles and everything, but it's fun work. Cool. Working towards something.
Definitely. So after you started learning the fundamentals and stuff like that, how long would you say it took before you started selling your works to shops and such? Started putting your name out there and such?
I would say I was probably doing it for 1 year while I was still working full time. And I feel like I made the transition at maybe 1.5 years. So maybe it was like 6 months after I quit working. Just grinding, learning everything the hard way. Luckily I was on EI because I had hernia surgery. Yeah. So I had that little bit of security money but yeah, I think 1.5 years total. Yeah. Until I sold my first batch of pipes to a smoke shop.
And so what were you making? So some pipes?
Yeah, they're like dry spoons, pretty much. Spoons was kind of the goal back then.
Yeah.
Before dabs really
For sure.
took off out here in this area.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Were you always artistic? Or did that kind of come when you started working with glass?
I never considered myself artistic, but I always wrote music, so I mean, you could argue I was, but I was never a visual artist, really. And this glass blowing kind of taught me how to be an artist, is what I feel like.
Definitely.
Kind of made me an artist.
Yeah.
In a sense. I don't know. Yeah. Musically artistic, but not visually.
For sure. Can you tell me a little bit about your introduction to cannabis?
Well, I always liked getting high.
Yeah.
But then, like, since I was like, I don't know, maybe like grade 8.
Yeah.
But when I saw what it did for my mom,
Yeah.
that's when I really became passionate about it. I
Yeah.
decided, like, okay, this is something I'm actually gonna look into and really be a part of. I'm not just gonna get high. I want to like know everything there is to know about it.
For sure.
So yeah, it was pretty much growing weed that kind of led me to this in the end.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it healed my mom and it gave me a job, so it healed both of us.
Nice. Who were some artists that inspired your work in the beginning? So obviously there was Nick when you saw his stuff.
Yeah, Nick for sure. He's like the foundation of my work, I'd say, my inspiration. But I don't know. I would have to say like Big Z, Banjo, Stratus, like the big names. You know what I mean? The stuff you see when you first get into the industry.
Yeah.
First get into the scene. That's the kind of stuff that was influencing me back then. I mean, definitely some Redbeard.
Yeah.
Redbeard had a Revere Glass. He was another one. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty accurate list.
Yeah, for sure.
In the beginning, anyway.
It's a good list.
Yeah.
It's a good list.
Good artist.
What do you think your glass blowing career would be like without Instagram?
It'd be a lot of going into shops
Yeah.
and showing them what I have,
For sure.
and getting turned down a lot.
Yeah.
There would be like a big portion of my month that would be just going to shops, you know what I mean, and hustling, trying to sell stuff. Instagram makes it easy. Like the piece is sold the day I take it out of the kiln,
Yeah.
if not before. And that's most people nowadays, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Instagram really helps. Probably 90% of what I sell is on Instagram.
For sure.
So if it disappears, we're fucked.
Yeah.
For a minute.
How important would you say local shops are to the culture and growing it locally?
It's everything. Nobody would know who we were. You know what I mean? We would just be people in basements and sheds in the backyard. If it wasn't for shops, like they're there telling people what's rad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need them for sure.
Do you have a favorite piece that you've ever made? And if so, what's so memorable about it?
Favorite piece I've ever made? I'd say it's a tie between a space recycler I made and I just finished a piece. It was a collaboration with my buddy Caleb, local artist. He goes by Kutsky Couture. He does makes book bags and stuff.
Nice.
He carved the glass. He made a piece for an owner of a dab company out in LA. It was like a big bee rig, big bee recycler.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a tie between that one and the space piece, I'd say.
Awesome. What are some of your favorite colors to work with?
Right now, definitely Secret White. Slime's always a good go-to, but Secret White takes the cake these days.
Yeah, for sure.
It's my favorite.
What's so good about Secret White? Why is that your favorite?
It's just a breeze, you know. Like it's hard to explain colors to people that don't blow glass, but like this color is super buttery.
Yeah.
You can work it as hard as you want. It doesn't boil or anything. Like you can really rough it up.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit transparent, so you can see everything that's going on inside. So it's just it's all around a good color. Plus it looks nice. So
Nice.
Win-win-win.
Yeah. Awesome. So what is your philosophy kind of right now as a glass blower?
I would say, like right now, I focus mostly on function first, but that doesn't it's everything. I want everything to work really nice. Like I want you to hit it and you can feel that there's something unique about it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't know. It's different day by day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends what my mood is, what I'm thinking about, what I'm into. But yeah, I think overall, function first.
For sure. So what's your favorite thing about making glass art?
I think honestly it's just the freedom to make literally whatever I want, and the opportunity. It's still such a new thing that everyone doing this right now feels like they could invent the next thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many things to be done still. It's such a new craft.
For sure. What was the most challenging thing when you first started blowing glass?
Oh, okay, I can answer that 100%. The hardest part about making pipes and bongs when I first started was definitely doing that downstem, that fixed downstem in the fucking bongs,
Yeah.
Briggs. I always used to have so much trouble with those. You go to put the joint on and it would just crack in the kiln. But trial and error,
Yeah.
it gets easier. And knock on wood, I haven't lost a piece that way in over a year. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
but yeah, that was a big hurdle for sure.
For sure. What kind of advice would you give to beginner glass blowers, people just hopping on the torch?
Basically, the only thing you gotta do is just put the hours in. You know what I mean? Just sit there, and you gotta want to. You gotta want to do it. You gotta be stubborn. It's gonna suck for a couple of years for sure, because you break so much. And like nobody likes working all day for nothing, and that's gonna happen a lot. So I don't know. You just gotta you gotta be stubborn and just hang in there.
For sure.
And just put in like a solid minimum 8 hours a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Treat it like a job.
For sure.
Basically.
What are some steps you think that can be taken to improve the glass scene out in the East Coast?
Definitely, if more people got into it, more people started blowing glass. I think if I'd like to do some shows at some point, get a couple artists together and build up a body of work for a couple months, and then drop it all at a shop and do a show and meet and greet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think some of that needs to happen, but definitely more people need to start blowing glass. That's
For sure. All right, dude. Well, I think that's all my questions for today. Thank you so much for sitting down and answering my questions, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming by.